Hello, I'm Brent, Hunter's dad.
Hello, I'm Tracy, Hunter's mom.
I'm Houston, Hunter's sister.
And I'm Hunter. Hello. Alright, let's begin. Americans love to complain about the price of gasoline, and I must admit, I'm guilty of this also. It is a necessity for it's necessary for most adults in order to travel to their jobs, family members, and for recreational activities. So it's not surprising that something so crucial is frequently brought up in everyday conversations. But what if there is a substance consumed worldwide by millions, required for daily function, and on average 2 to 3 times as expensive as gasoline per ounce, that you rarely thought about? The culprit may have slipped into your mind by now. Our expensive commodity, as it turns out, is none other than bottled water. Most likely in the past few weeks, you drank water from a disposable bottle, perhaps more than once per day, and you may not have considered the impact the item has on our environment. Today, I want to urge you to drastically reduce your consumption of bottled water for several reasons. Cost is drastically more expensive than municipal water. It contributes needless waste to the environment and is no safer, if not less safe, than locally sourced tap water. Now, before you have a reason to resist to buy that bottle of water in the supermarket, you need some concrete evidence of the harm that bottled water actually does, and I don't blame you in the slightest. To begin, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the presentation, bottled water can cost on average 2 to 3 times more per ounce than gasoline. Even more surprising, bottled water costs up to 2,000 times as much as tap water per ounce, according to chief market strategist Nick Koblis. If sheer cost wasn't enough to consider rejecting bottled water, consider the impact bottled water has on the environment. The Riverkeeper, a New York-based conservation firm, estimates that the cost of filling, transporting, and refrigerating one bottle of water is the equivalent of filling up to a quarter of the way with oil, refined oil. Even worse, it takes around 3 to 4 liters of water to produce a bottle that holds 1 liter of water, according to Peter Gleek of the Pacific Institute. The amount of plastic needed to manufacture plastic water bottles weighs in at around 2.7 million tons per year, and around 86% of this ends up in landfills and in the world's oceans. Surprisingly, 30% of bottled water is sourced from local municipal supplies, according to government sources in a National Resources Defense Council study, then rebottled and sold to you hundreds of times more expensive. You're bottling water that you could actually get out of your tap. Even more interestingly, many Americans regard bottled water as safer than municipal water, citing health reasons. However, the Environmental Protection Agency states that municipal tap water is subject to stricter standards with much more frequent monitoring than bottled water, which is regulated as a food product by the Food and Drug Administration. Now that we have seen some problems with bottled water, we are left with a question. What can I do to offset the negative effects of the product, or avoid it altogether? The most obvious approach to avoiding the ludicrous cost of bottled water is obvious. Avoid buying it altogether. In fact, according to an international demographic study, the Dallas-Fort Worth area purchases the highest percent of bottled water once a month in the entire nation. One way to reduce waste, and also continue to have water on the go, is to use a non-disposable refillable container, which I'm sure all of you have seen at Walmart or another store like that. Several vendors offer high-quality plastic options, or if you like to fill metal, there are several options, such as stainless steel tumblers, which will last forever. Lastly, if you have concerns about the safety or the taste of your tap water, multiple filters are available that can filter out unwanted sediment and then also have antimicrobial properties that can kill bacteria if you have concerns about that. Often the quality of waters available at home can be manipulated to the user's liking with relative ease, costing only around 18 cents per gallon, according to one manufacturer of filters. As we all know, our actions do have consequences, and action is required to stop accumulating waste and wasted energy produced by the widespread use of bottled water, not only in the United States but worldwide. Here we have an entire gallon of water that I refilled out of the tap, and here is the same amount that you could buy. There's a little bit of bottled water. These are the same price. If you continue to purchase bottled water at current prices, you will lose money. consumer can save a great deal of money per year by just avoiding the allure of convenience, really. On a more dire note, if the worldwide consumption of plastic does not decrease soon, and this also relates to water bottles, landfills and oceans will continue to acquire more waste that will not be disposed of or won't be broken down for thousands of years. According to a market line study, the predicted volume of production increase in the bottled water industry is forecast at 17.82% in 2017. If recycling of plastics stays at its current low level, the waste from plastic bottles will only start to accumulate more and more in the United States. Finally, if one sticks to their municipal water supply, they can have strong confidence that their water is of top quality. Water reports are published openly every few years, and they're available on the internet, at the courthouse, or wherever you can get them. And they allow you to see contaminants and other minerals and such, or outbreaks that have been present in the water supply over the past few years. No such system is present for bottled water because they're not subject, like I said earlier, to any EPA regulations. But if they cross state lines, they have to be inspected by the FDA, which most don't even cross state lines. As I stated in the speech's introduction, Americans like to complain about the gas prices, but they really can do little to change it. Bottled water is a different story. Now that we have, I urge each and every one of you to take all the possible necessary steps to reduce your waste associated with disposable water bottles. Avoid that convenient bottle of water at the supermarket unless absolutely needed, like if you're required for it's an emergency. Fill up a large jug of water for parties and use reusable cups that you can wash and you can keep on using so you don't contribute to waste. Or simply set a limit for yourself on how many you can have per day, per week, or per month, even per year, and then use tap water for the rest of the day. So remember, drink more of your tap, recycle your bottles, and don't give your local supply a bad rap. Thank you.